abstract painting has a very messy, almost ugly, so to say, middle stage that makes you question your choices as an artist, that makes you feel like all of your ideas are suddenly collapsed on the canvas. So today I want to walk you through how I personally push through this awkward middle and bring painting from the ugly stage one step up to actually more sophisticated stages when it feels complete. But before we dive into it, hey, my name is Esther Franchuk. I'm an abstract artist, painter, traveler creative. I make videos about my studio life, creative living, and so much more. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit notification bell so you'll not miss any of the upcoming videos. This video actually, and this painting is continuation of the other video that I did, which was way more exciting video to film because it was about the fun beginnings and it was called An Unconventional Way to Start an Abstract Painting. I started it by actually painting with flower, branches and sticks, so it was super fun beginning. I really enjoyed the process, and then when I start working in layers and just adding more things and trying to figure out composition and the color story, it got a bit messed up. So we're gonna work today through overcoming this stage, and I also wanna talk a little bit about like what makes it messy or what has to be solved before I work on this piece, so you have a little bit more understanding of what I mean by the awkward middle stage.
We're looking for some ugly stage paintings.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an easy or a hard task though at this point. Let's see what we have. We have this one. I'm actually looking pretty epic in my complementary color solution because it's yellow and the painting is purple so far. But it's not that ugly yet. I mean, it is initial beginning stages, but it's need to progress a bit further to reach the ugly middle.
Not fully ugly stage yet.
Not fully ugly stage yet.
More
yeah.
like beginning stage.
Beginning ugly stage. This one already went through the ugly stage. This one actually never was like too ugly. It was just messy.
And it's upside down right now.
Yeah. This is okay.
Yeah.
It helps me to have clarity.
Now we're going into the corner where nobody's allowed to go.
Yeah. I think this one would work.
Yes.
I think this one is ugly enough. Now, as we talk about it and I see it on the camera, it's not like super ugly yet. I mean, it is for me.
Maybe messy is a better word for it. Less devaluating. It's okay to be messy sometimes. Look, this painting here is so messy we even turned the easel to the wall. That nobody may ever see it in the stage.
That's not true. I just don't want to look at it right now. Not because it's messy or ugly, because it's bothering me.
Okay. I think it actually looks pretty cool already.
For me, it's super random right now.
It's messy. It's messy, but I mean, it looks pretty cool and epic, but it's messy.
I feel like it just like, in person, for me, after working for so long, it looks way worse than like on the camera. I'm trying to develop tonal solution and composition. It just really busy and messy, and like there's so many things that have to refine, but it is kind of a middle ugly stage, so I want to bring it further to where it will make more sense. So the main problem of where it got messed up, I believe, I don't really know if it's messed up or not, but it just, sometimes I'm really intentional about every single move in my process, especially when I'm riding this like inspiration wave and I just have clarity of what I want to do, what kind of results I'm going for. This painting kind of fall in between me working on other two pieces, and I had so much extra paint left, so I had a lot of blue paint and I didn't want to waste it. So I didn't have color palette in mind, but I started putting a lot of blue just because I had blue on the palette and left from another painting, and I was like, this is really weird way of working on something, by the way. It's like I have to like rewire my brain, and if I want this painting to be different from the other painting that I was working on, I shouldn't just like use the same palette and the same stuff, but I was like, might as well add some blue because I have a bunch. So I added blue, and then I added all of this ochre yellow. I didn't know in the moment why I'm choosing these colors. Then I liked some of the effects and I added more collage, but I really that was just a really bad painting day, and I decided to push through even though I didn't feel like I want to or I have capacity. I feel like it was one of the days when we didn't sleep at night because of the baby, and we were just like forcing ourselves to work in the studio and make some progress. I mean, I did for myself. So I made some not of the best choices, but what was good about this stage though, that I still show up and I painted, and I feel like a lot of it still is really useful, but I have to solve this situation with just having too many random colors and just like bring more structure and clarity to this piece in the next stages. So we'll see how it goes today, but I think I have some ideas of how to push through and bring it further. So that's what I gonna do now. This is my outing outfit, more or less. Another thrifted dress that I like, matching my paintings with, but I probably gonna change because I just ruined my other dress trying to film an aesthetic YouTube video earlier on, and I love the dress. It was the first time I was wearing it and I felt really good about it, and then I wanted to change or like put an apron at least, and then I'm like, I can do it. Like it probably should, just first stages, probably should stay clean, and it didn't, because last moment when I was finishing up my painting session, it just splashed the black paint all over my white top. So today I'm gonna change and I actually gonna paint in a different outfit. So today is a new day. Am I gonna like truly bring it out of the ugly stage? Is questionable, because it's usually a process over a week or two or more. It depends on the mood and the time capacity. But what I did so far actually was not so happy with a color and a little bit composition, so I just overpaint a lot of the yellow, and I added some spray paint and just some marks. Then I didn't like the marks so I did something really intentionally though, which was really limiting color palette to less shades, because it felt like it was just orange and blue was like too equal and they were fighting each other. So I wanted to really make this piece overall less bright. It was like a bit screaming to me, so I wanted to make it more calm, and I feel like also this format was asking for something a little bit more soothing and restful, and with too much of the bright oranges and all of the movement going on here, it felt like just it's a bit overwhelming. So I brought it to more soft stage right now, just working one area at a time, like really covering all of the extra sharp lines and trying to kind of find the color story that I like, which is right now it's in a way better place, and I'm gonna keep painting and we will see what happens next. After all, it's just one small decision after another, that like you work in one area, you make like one decision, then it plays into next decision, and just like that painting comes to life. But if you will not make those initial steps, where if you not just like choose to work in one area at this stage, not talking about like having white canvas and then trying to paint something in one corner and then move to the next, but like when you have a general composition situation going on, you have brought it through at least 2-3 layers, I think it's a good time to start looking more like close-ups at certain areas and try to better them. And then as you work in one area, it helps you to build towards the next. So I am at this stage where I don't know where to work next. So I just gonna start working somewhere, and hopefully I will know more as I move through this painting. community in the comment section, as always, will say, brilliant, brilliant, we didn't make it enough, and I'm always like, so what I do, what I believe is really helps to overcome this messy stage at this point is just really try to zoom in one area at a time and really just start fixing it. So I felt like this orange, I still want to keep the orange because it's I want to keep it on the complementary color palette side with way more blues than oranges, but I want it to be just softer and not as bright, or just introduce a little bit more pastels. So I am like spreading this lighter area to create breathing space, and I basically work around here, and it really helps just like really work on one area at a time and not try to jump everywhere, especially when you're lost and the painting seems like a mess and it has to be pulled together, and it's really tempting to just like try to go all over instead of working in one area. But at this time it's really beneficial to just stick to one area and fix it one area at a time. And then as I'm fixing a little bit in this area, I feel like I already work a bit throughout the whole canvas here and there as well, because like when I start working on something and I work on it for a while, I see just more places like that just need to be brought forward. And if I'm looking overall on the painting, I might not know like that all of these things have to happen, but when I start working on one part, it gives me immediately like solution for the next part, for the next, and for the next. I found it interesting in both art and life that this is like just how you problem solve a lot of things, not just in the painting, and that's how you like, it's just a really good principle to apply in life. And recently, like in the beginning of this year, for example, we started supporting a non-profit, and it has to do with orphan care in Ukraine, and that has been in my heart for a really long time. But I always felt like I couldn't really change the whole system of orphan care in Ukraine, and we want to adopt as a family eventually, and I know it's like changing one child's life is a huge thing, especially for this child, right? But in terms of like, how do you help overall? Like, what do you do to actually make an impact on the whole system? And this has just never felt like a possibility. But in the same time, like not doing anything felt also weird. So this year we actually started supporting non-profit, which is like building a home, like an alternative home for children in Ukraine, that is like a bridging step in between the institutional system and the family situation. It meant to advocate for children so they could be properly like advocated for and introduced even for adoption, especially children with special needs, because they're just not at all being advocated for in the official orphan care. And I was pregnant in this time, so it felt like way more emotional and almost like full circle, that like, okay, I couldn't like postpone any longer being involved, because it feels like a small step, because this first home that we are helping to support now with our 10% proceeds from all of the sales, like paintings, original prints, courses, it's just like this one home that's being built right outside our town. It's gonna accommodate like 8 to 10 children at a time. So it feels like a really small thing on the global scale, but in the same time, like it's the only way to change this whole system because it's supposed to model alternative care, and those private projects being built is like the only way to even like set an example for others like to step in and follow. So it opened my eyes of like a lot of times we hold ourselves back from doing something that we feel is right in our heart, in both art and life and whatever, because we are afraid that like this is just this huge mess and like doing something little will like not really make a difference or make it work. So it's like it throws us into passivity, and this is never the answer, because as I said, like that has been, at least for me, one of those huge learnings with both art and life, that you just really have to start somewhere. Like you couldn't change everything at once, neither the system or nation or painting, but doing those decisions to move forward and just do what you can with resources that you have. Just starting somewhere is what will like lay next steps in front of you and really help you propel forward in your life and business, and really change family dynamics, change nations, and ultimately it changes the world, just one person at a time being active. Yeah, so that's actually been like really huge realization. It has been also really encouraging, since we only started doing it with our business this year, and we thought it's going to be such a small impact, but it grew and grew, and so many people step in, and just like me, not even like me donating and those proceeds, but like all of the people who just heard about it through our business and the arts, and were able to like directly make an impact on this project. So it just opened my eyes how important it is to share what's on your heart, because you never know the butterfly effect, so to say, and how it will go around the world and who's gonna know about it. So you just have to respond to this initial pull in your heart and share anyway. By the way, if you're interested on this specific project, because a lot of you bought the course, bought prints, and you have been part of this journey, and some of you even donated directly to Blossom Cottage. If you want to see a progress on the building process and where it is now, because a lot of things changed since we did a vlog about it, just make sure to stick to the end of this video, because it has more updates on this specific project. So I'm gonna keep painting for now, because I really want to bring this piece forward. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with today's progress. Of course, it's not the final result. The painting is still halfway through. What I did so far, I believe, is pulled it out from the ugly stage. There's some still a couple more things I would like to do before moving to finishing it up in oils. But so far I worked on acrylic, and I really tried to solve this painting in terms of tonal and color relationships. I made it a bit more calm and pastel, while still keeping a lot of contrast within the blues to give it space and depth. I also worked a lot around this area. I simplified it, probably gonna simplify a bit more over here, just have it a bit of more clear path. But so far I really like that I got rid of a lot of marks over here and just filled it with solid colors. So in tone it looks pretty similar, which gives it a bit more, the painting a bit more room to breathe. Also simplifying this whole areas and just lightening it up brought a lot more contrast to what I wanna make the focal point with the birds. So I introduced a couple more colors. I had some green going on here, but I spread the green like from the focal point a bit around. I feel like it will need a tiny bit more somewhere here, just all of these transitional shades. I felt like it needs another color to really come to life and create a more sophisticated color palette, so I blended those areas a bit, like trying to bring transitional colors in between the green and the blue, something in between. So still needs work, but I feel like at this point I have a little bit more understanding of what I'm doing. So I believe it looks a lot better than what you saw in the beginning of this video. Maybe you think I have a plan for every painting and no matter the stage it works. It didn't work for me. I had no idea what I was doing. So right now I have way more understanding of where this painting is going, and from this point on I'm gonna be just refining and beautifying more certain areas, but I have a bigger relationship figured out. I think, as I said, just maybe a little bit more has to happen in this part, but overall the good tip is to always stand back and as often as possible to see the painting from a distance. So I stood and I looked at it from a distance, and it's in such better place that it was. It's way more calm and soothing. I feel like composition has started to come forward more strongly, and the color palette also way more sophisticated. That is what I started in the beginning. So this is what I call the messy, ugly stage, and this is where I always feel stuck until I started just working on it one moment, one decision, one small area at a time. If you also know this feeling and the stage where you just don't know how to move forward, how to make decisions, how to bring this painting to a reasonable stage where you can finish it, I have created a full course on my process where I work start to finish on 3 different paintings, different compositions, different color story, slightly different approach in terms of inspiration and the way of building the painting. There is no time lapses, nothing sped up. It's decision after decision. It's me being super vulnerable and walking you through every decision and every stage of the painting, from the first brushstrokes to the very end. I believe it's super valuable and helpful to see other artists go through the whole process and showing not just highlights of the process and of the painting, but all of the struggles, all of the decisions, all of the in-betweens, working and reworking areas, and really pulling it all together with everything in between included. No polishing and no hiding of all of these uncomfortable stages and places. One of the reasons I designed this course is for you to feel confident in your painting process and to build it with intuition, structure, and freedom. That's why you will get not only my full painting process on 3 paintings, but in-depth exercises on composition and color story. These exercises alone will help you lay a super strong foundation in your abstract work. There are already so many artists that joined the course, and I'm getting incredible feedback of how helpful all of this content is. So if you're interested in learning more about confident abstracts, make sure to check the link in the description box down below. And as I mentioned before, 10% of all of the proceeds from my website, including the abstract course, go towards ending the orphan crisis in Ukraine by building a family-style home for orphans in my area. As I said earlier, there has been a lot of progress since I last did the vlog about this project. So we went to the property again a couple days ago, and I just want to update you guys to where it is right now and what else we need in order to finish that project, because a lot of progress happened, but there is also a lot that still has to be done. So here's how the trip went. It's so exciting. I love it. It's just so amazing to see progress and to see, like, in real time and on real space and real project, like where our donations are going to. I had it on my heart for such a long time to make an impact, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like with so many organizations, like if you're not working directly with people, like you just not with them, you like cannot touch and feel what are you actually being part of. It's like sometimes could be really challenging, but I really had it on my heart for a long time to contribute to help children in need, and specifically in orphan care system here in Ukraine. And this is just really spoke to my heart when I knew about this project, and I like 100% trust Alina, Clinton, everyone on the team. I have been like, I knew them, the core team, for more than 10 years now, so it's really, it feels like really personal, and it's like a full circle. And I don't know, I feel like Clinton also helped me a lot when I just went the first time to the States to do a volunteer art school, and it was a big thing for me that like really opened my eyes to
so many things in the world and the needs of different nations and people group, and now just coming back to Ukraine and leaving like my mark and making impact here and helping them build this vision here in Ukraine is just so just deeply touching me, because I don't know, it always felt like when people come from all over the world, like from US and Europe, and to like our little town here in Ukraine during the war, like choose to live here during the war and choose to build something to give better care for all of the vulnerable groups of people and children, especially that being overlooked by our own systems. It just really always amazes me of how all of it comes together and how God brings people together and how we're able to build something together and make an impact. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this project, and just also us being able, like once it launches, like to come here and maybe like do something also, maybe paint a mural, maybe also just like volunteer with the kids. We wanna do like start our own process of adoption, so just being able to be closer to those children and as we move our own adoption process would be amazing. So I'm really excited.
There's many wall options for having a mural. So this goes into the kitchen. Nice big windows.
Oh wow, that's new. Hey, this is like just isolation?
Insulation, yeah.
Insulation.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's already insulated. So basically the next step for the walls is going to be to put up the drywall. Mm-hmm. But first we need to do the electrical. Mm-hmm. So the electrical will go in and then we'll put drywall on top. This will be like a pantry. Mm-hmm. Kitchen.
Really cool.
Like a house, right?
It's a lot of progress.
Yeah, last time we've been here, it has been only this like wood construction inside.
Yeah, it was just the framing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Bennett is having fun.
Have to rinse off all the dust. But yeah, so this will be the living room area. Obviously opens up into the nice patio where we can do meals and artwork and activities and schoolwork outside, which will be nice. And then these will be like staff quarters up front. So like a staff bedroom, staff bathroom. There's another bedroom. And then this will be kind of the multi-purpose space, so we're gonna have it equipped for like classroom setting, like if we want to do homework with the kids, or like therapy and things like that. And so we'll have sliding doors here so we can close it off if children are doing like physical therapy in here or something like that. Can kind of close it off from the rest of the house and have some privacy in here, and then we can open it back up to where it's part of the main room. Yeah. So in here maybe it would be a great place for a mural.
You gonna paint a mural here, baby?
Maybe if they let me.
And then we've just got bedroom, bathroom, bedroom, bedroom, bathroom. And then same on the other side. So lots of open space for everyone to be together. And then also to have their own person.
So how many children like are in one bedroom, let's say?
It'll probably depend on the needs of the children, of needs and age of how we keep them together, of what's best. But ideally, there won't be more than 2 in a bedroom. So we'll have 8 to 10 children living here. Depending on the needs of the children, we can have them separated with like the younger kids, or if there's like certain higher needs that need more equipment in the room or things like that. So we'll have a lot of flexibility on how we can create this space into their home. So it's a lot of room, actually. Yeah.
Those are big bedrooms also, eh?
Yeah.
Feels really big.
Difference to what they have in the system. They have little to no personal space, right?
Yeah, right now they would share sleeping quarters with anywhere from 10 to 30 other individuals, depending on where they are and what their age are. So yeah, this will give them privacy, some of their own personal space. They'll be able to keep their own belongings in their room, which is not something they currently get to experience. And yeah, just have a space to have some like independent time. I think that's something that we see a lot. We were able to bring some of the kids from the orphanage, one of the local orphanages here, to summer camp that we hosted with Shade for Children. We had 10 of the kids from the orphanage there, and one of the things that they really just appreciated about it was their independence. So sometimes we would have an activity going on like with the main kids, but they would prefer to just be able to like sit off to the side and just have their own space by themselves, like whether it's going outside on a walk or things like that. And we were able to kind of let them do that, where they got out of just having to be in that structured group setting and just got to be independent for a little bit. Kids just don't really get that in an orphanage setting. There's children everywhere, there's workers everywhere, there's always structure and, you know, rules and everything that they need to follow. And here they're going to have a little bit more independence, a little bit more freedom, be able to discover what they like, what they're creative in, what they're good at. And you really see children's personalities come out a lot more when they have that independence too. So
That's really cool.
I'm excited about that. But yeah, big bedrooms, lots of space for fun things. See if we can find something. Yeah.
And you mentioned in the system right now there's 10 to 30 people in one room, basically.
Yes. Yeah, and obviously the rooms there are bigger, but it's usually just like a bunk room. So the way the orphanage is typically set up is you'll have kids broken up into groups, and it's typically based on their age. And you'll have one room that is just beds. So that's their sleeping room, and it's bed after bed after bed after bed. And then they'll have like another room that'll have some toys, maybe a couch, or just like a carpet, and that's like where they live. And most of the kids will live their entire lives just going between those two rooms, sometimes going outside. If they are able to go to school, typically it's done in the building as well. A lot of them are boarding schools, so they don't get access to the rest of the world. They go from their sleeping room to their living quarters to maybe a classroom, and that's their day after day after day. So while we're creating a home space here, a place where they can be independent and comfortable and grow and develop, we also are really looking forward to purchasing a van so that we can take them out into the city, integrate them into society so they can participate in things like the Children's Day Festival and go see the cherry blossoms, the sakura, and really be a part of the community here, not just stuck in this home and on this property. So while we do want to create home, we also want it to be a way that we integrate these children better into society. And you, please. You're going to be here all the time, aren't you?
Bennett approves. Gonna play with all the children.
The time of his life.
Yeah. Yeah. He loves kids.
So the children that you're gonna have, you are allowed to just take them out of the home and just yeah.
Yeah, so once we have Blossom Cottage like as the entity within the Ukrainian orphan care system, so we will be seen as a method of care for these children in the orphan care system. So their custody, like their guardianship over these children, will transfer from the state to the director of our home, and so they will have full custody of these children, which will give us permission to provide the adequate medical care that they need, advocate for them, be able to bring them, you know, where we need to go, where we want to go in the city. So we will have a lot of independence on how we can operate as a home. That also, us doing this as a private entity as well, so we won't be state run, we'll be a private institution, gives us the ability to hire our own staff and train our own staff. So our staff will definitely have a deeper understanding of trauma-based care, of trauma-informed care, of how they can meet the needs of our children, especially the ones that have disabilities. We'll just have a deeper understanding of the quality of care that they can provide for those children that isn't necessarily required within the institutions. So that's a huge advantage of going private, is that we will be able to hire and train our staff, and we won't have to rely on the government for providing staff. However, we will have a very close relationship with the government, with the social services, because they will be the one who place children in our care. But we'll be a approved alternative care to the typical institution placement.
That's really cool. Why he always has to make those sounds when we speak on deep topics?
Yeah, why don't you like go explore? He's like inhaling dirt.
He's just so excited he couldn't.
He just knew you made a great point, so he wanted to
Yeah. Yeah.
emphasize that.
There's something so special also about like having the project emerge from like idea and planning into the actual land and walls and framing and naming and
Yeah.
branding and
It's actually happened really quickly because, man, it's currently July 2025. It was April of 2023 was when we first stepped foot on this property and purchased the property. So that's only been a little over 2 years since we even like had a space that we could dream about, that we could, you know, say, okay, the Lord provided this property, or, you know, how are we going to best utilize it to make the best impact on the orphan care system? And, you know, 2 years can feel like a long time, but also in a project at this scale, I feel like it's actually moved really quickly. We've had a lot of favor, we've had a lot of blessing to actually have a structure around us to be talking about, you know, who we're gonna hire, who's gonna care for these kids, which kids will be in this home. To be at that point, I actually think, in the grand scheme of things, it's moved quite quickly. But that's because of the Lord's provision and just opening so many doors. I get emotional every time I'm in here, actually.
Yeah.
Just like, no, like just picturing the kids that could be calling this home and having their lives changed.
I can imagine all the decor. I feel like you will have so much fun, so much more fun than
Yes.
when this is like starting to come together
Yes.
as a living
I'm very excited for the
situation.
decorating part. Just making it home, making it playful. I don't know, I feel like at the orphanage, they have like toys for the kids and they're always like up on shelves and they're put away, and the kids, you know, they don't want to like have them make a mess, so they'll keep them put away. And it's like, I want this to be a place that's like,
alive.
yes, that like it's clear that people live here. It's not like, you know, staged for, you know, the appearance of care, but it's like, no, people actually call this place home. Like, you know, we have toys, we have, I don't know, maybe a piano and like different things. It's like it shows that it's lived in and it's, you know, life happens here. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for, yeah, making it a safe, secure, beautiful place, but also just giving them a place to actually like live and like be kids, like Bennett. He's being a kid right now, just running around like crazy.
So how many bedrooms are in total?
Let's see. We got 1, 2. This is bathroom. 3. Bathroom, entryway. So then 4, 5. Bathroom. 6, 7, and then 8 plus the caregivers. Yeah, caregivers living area. So yeah, we'll have staff that like are here full time, obviously, taking care of the kids, and then they'll rotate out. So we'll give, you know, we'll have a big enough team that staff can come in, they're living here, they're here full time, and then they rotate out, and you know, the other team comes in and takes over so that they can get a good break. We don't want, you know, burnout or anything like that with our team, but we're also hoping to have staff cottages next door, right next door on the property, where myself and Mariana, who's another part of our Shade for Children team, will live here on property so that we can provide supplemental care to the caregivers that are here working full time. So we can come in, you know, we can help serve breakfast or serve dinner or help with homework or different activities, so that it's not, you know, fully on the caregivers 24/7, to make sure every single need is met. That will also allow us to have a level of quality assurance where we're here, we have our eyes on the place, we have our eyes on the kids, and we can make sure that the level of care that they're receiving is the quality that we want from this home. So like a protection standpoint of the kids, that'll be really important. What do you think, Bennett? Are you gonna like hanging out here?
He thinks it's cool.
Are you gonna like hanging out here when all the kids are here? Don't eat that.
He's gonna love it.
I really think he will. I think this is the staff bedroom. This is an office, because that's got the whole, so this has to be the bathroom and then office space and then bedroom. Because we did have one room set aside that's gonna hold, you know, so that we can like all the documents of the children and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna do like personal development plans for each child. So we'll know as they come into our care, where are they at physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, like what is their state? And then working with our on-site caregivers, working with doctors, psychologists, developing a plan to help these kids best thrive. So Mariana's probably going to head that up from the Shade for Children side of the team, and then we'll hire staff to come around her and support her in that, of really just making sure these kids are moving forward as best as possible while they're in our care, so that we can best prepare them for permanent family placement. Because the idea is for them not to live here forever. Yeah. The idea is for us to care for them, give them a place to grow and heal, and then
that was actually my next question of like how is happening like the advocacy for the children, because in general it's not the plan, right, to keep children in the system, in any kind of system, even a really good one.
Yeah.
But it's a really good step, like a bridging step to just get them out of the huge institution and really prepare them for adoption, I guess, right? So how, like, what is the plan, the map for this process?
Yeah, so advocacy is a really delicate thing when you're talking about kids in the orphan care system, because they're already in such a vulnerable state. So you don't want to exploit their vulnerability already. So you want to be really delicate when you're advocating for children in orphan care systems. But we want to make sure we reach the families that are interested in adoption, that are interested in coming alongside these children, and create avenues for relationship, for exposure, so that families can actually see who are the kids in Ukraine that still needs homes. So I think a big part of that is going to be being able to bring them out into the city and into society, so that they're not just tucked away in the institution, they're not just hidden away. Especially children with disabilities, they're pretty much like they're tucked in the mountains. They don't come out. Like the average Ukrainian population just doesn't see them. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. We're hoping our children will be a part of the community, a part of the society, and so
which makes them also a bit more like easy transition into life in the family.
They'll be able to learn social skills and see how other kids are playing in the playgrounds and at the park and things like that. And then we'll also be able to provide easier transition where families, whether they're adopting domestically or internationally, if and when international adoption resumes, that families can come and they can meet the children and start developing a relationship with them before they're brought home. I think that will really help with the transition as well. That's another actual hope for the property, is to have more homes on the property where potential adoptive families would actually be able to stay on property, and through the course of their adoption process try to maybe help alleviate some of the cost of adoption, and have them close to the kids and things like that. So our main goal for these children is to get them permanent homes and permanent families.
That's wonderful.
Another thing with us having children with disabilities, primarily, we're not necessarily exclusively going to be children with disabilities, but we are equipped, and that's a big part of our heart and our goal, is to give an alternative care for children with disabilities. Right now, those children are not advocated for by the government, by the system at all. They're not put up as like recommendations for adoptive families. When they're asking which children are available for adoption, the children with disabilities aren't given, like they're not saying, oh, here are these children. They're waiting only for like the typical healthy children to then present those to adoptive families. So we're gonna have some hurdles to overcome when it comes to social services working with us to better advocate for those kids. So like we will be able to advocate for them, but social services also has to get behind us and being able to give recommendations or referrals to those kids to be adopted. Most of them have status, most of them are eligible for adoption, they're just not being advocated for the way they deserve and need to be. So I think us coming in and speaking up for that and being a voice for those kids is going to make a huge difference overall in how social services sees it as well. We so appreciate the advocacy that you have done for Blossom Cottage, especially as a Ukrainian. Like that is our heart and our goal, is to get the Ukrainians behind this project, to get Ukrainian support for this project, and you've been such an incredible voice for that. So just like a small token as our appreciation is we do have Blossom Cottage t-shirts, which can be purchased on our website. but we wanted to give
It's
you
my favorite color. One of them.
one of them.
I do love all of the colors.
This color is gonna look fabulous on you. But yeah, Blossom Cottage shirt so you can rep the so that you can rep the logo and represent Blossom Cottage and continue to share our message in the incredible way that you've been doing.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I'm gonna put it on.
Yeah.
It is a great color for you, I think.
I love lilac, and I have a lot of paintings in. I don't have film me putting it on, but
And now I match.
Great.
I was just thinking this morning. I need for all of those vlogs. I need a Blossom Cottage shirt so I can like look more proper for my.
She's official now.
I am
Official Blossom
official.
Cottage advocate.
Yeah.
Well done.
Why Bennett doesn't have a shirt?
You know, so I made these shirts before I had Bennett. So,
Okay.
but the goal in the next round is to get Bennett a shirt. I also want to get him a little hoodie that's got it. He'll be repping Blossom Cottage before too long. Maybe a bandana.
I mean, he's also advocating kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, Bennett is going to be working at Blossom Cottage, so he's being
He
trained.
have a staff
Yeah,
outfit.
yeah. So
Makes sense.
he'll have his work shirt that he'll put on to come work with the kids.
Julie would not be a good fit.
No.
She's way too protective over her pack.
Yeah, maybe we can bring her out just to like run in the frolic in the field
Yeah.
or something.
So I'm really amazed of like the amount of help and donations we received so far, and it has been a lot through like just our personal art sales, people buying courses and arts and prints, but also a lot of people just really got touched by the story and the project, so they donated directly. Obviously it makes even more impact because we still have a business and a lot of running costs, so it's amazing if people can like directly step in, and we just serve as this like channel to introduce them to the project.
Yeah.
And because they trust me and trust the brand, they able to like more fast to like really connect with it and with the story. So we have been able to raise a lot of money already, and also you guys and like, with all of the sponsors, and we got all of the donations already. We were able to get us the coating, right?
Yep.
And what is so inside, like just more progress since we last filmed here. So what are the things that still need to be done?
Yeah, we have made such like incredible progress over the last few weeks. And having the siding on the house and the roofing on the house and the windows and doors, it really draws the picture together of what this home is going to look like. To bring us past that, like, we feel like we're really in that final stretch to bring this home into fruition and bring it to a place that will be able to house children. And so one of the big things that we're working on right now is getting the property more accessible. So as you can see around us, we're standing pretty much in an overgrown field. This is actually all part of our property that goes with Blossom Cottage. And so one of the things we're wanting to do is purchase a tractor that will allow us to maintain this property. And then that'll get us in a position to where we can actually get a road built and paved, so we have better accessibility to the property. Luckily, I drive a Jeep, so we're able to get out here right now, but we really need to increase the accessibility to the house right now. With that, we're also working with the electrical company. We've been going back and forth with the electrical company for quite a while to get the power out to the property. This property used to be agricultural. It is now rezoned for residential, obviously, and so it doesn't currently have power on the property. We've been relying on generators thus far to get the house to this point, but we're really at the point of needing power. So that's something that people can be praying for. If you're the type that pray that we can get electricity out to the property sooner rather than later. Once we have that, we'll be able to move on in the next steps in the house, which, as you guys have seen, it's already framed and insulated. Our next steps inside the house are electricity, electrical, and plumbing. Get the house all set up for that. Once we're done with electrical and plumbing, we'll be able to hang drywall, paint, put flooring in.
That's what I'm excited about.
Come help us paint.
Yeah, I would think.
Yes. So we will then be able to start making it from a house into a home. So, yeah, we're really on that final stretch. We have about $100,000 more that we're working to raise through your purchases, through your donors. That is helping us reach that goal. We also have partnerships with organizations in the States and throughout Europe that are helping make this possible. And we're excited for the Ukrainians that are coming alongside us in this project as well. So this really is a like global impact that we have here of people coming from all parts of the world to really bring this house into fruition and change lives of children. But the last $100,000 USD will really bring us to a point in this house where we can have children in our care, have it furnished, have the equipment that we need for any of their medical needs, as well as a playground and a road and all the things.
The road is important.
The road is very
Last
important
time
right now.
when the weather was a bit tricky, let's say,
Yes.
and we got stuck, and the guy from the village just has to step in.
Yeah, my Jeep, even though I drive a Jeep and it's very handy, it did get stuck on the road because that's just how poor it is, how inaccessible it really is to get to the property right now. So the road is a very important next step for us. So that and electricity are what we're kind of waiting on, having the support and the funding for that. And then the rest of it, I think, will move pretty quickly of getting the rest of the house done. So, come so far and just have that last little bit to go.
I also think I should come more often and paint here, because look at this landscape. Like, there's like all these wildflowers and bushes. I know it's like you want to cultivate it a bit more, but I just like the vibe of the wildflowers and trees and the mountains on the back. I feel like it could make a good planner inspirational sketch that I can turn into an abstract painting later.
We can leave a space for you for the wildflowers.
Maybe I can make like a painting inspired by this place, and then we can do an art auction or something.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. But can you feel like how peaceful it is out on
It
the
is
property
really peaceful.
already? I think that was one thing that really drew us to this property, is you step foot on it and you really feel just like the healing nature of like being out in away from the city and the quiet and the mountains and yeah, there's just something about this property that I feel like already has healing qualities to it, and giving the children access to that. I think it's going to be really beautiful.
Let's go in.
One of the other things that final 100,000 USD will get us towards is a permanent fence and gate into the property. As you can see right now, we have a very temporary.
I had issues getting in.
We did have I have a key, and we still had a hard time getting in the gate. So we have a very temporary situation right now. But before we have children on the property, we want to have a safe, secure fencing and gate, so that we can keep them safe and protected. And so that's another thing that our final stretch of fundraising will go towards, the fence and the gate. A lot of people recommended us doing the permanent fence first, because you really need a fence during a building process for just protection of the equipment and all this stuff, and keep people away from the property, so for safety purposes. But we ended up just doing the temporary fence, which went up very quickly. It was very inexpensive for that, so that we could prioritize the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like the most dire need with what we have at the moment, but eventually we'll have something more permanent in
I
place.
feel like it's wise though to like really build up a house first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, you don't want to invest too much in the property before you actually have the house. But I'm excited here too, like we're gonna have like the dirt like built up to the house so it's more even, and have this like either paved or cobblestoned here, so that we can, one, drive up to the house to unload groceries or equipment or anything like that, but then also we'll give space for the children to come out. And so if they're wheelchair bound or maybe just a little unstable on their feet, we'll have like a smooth, solid, level place for them to come out and play. Maybe we have like a swimming pool, or we'll eventually have a playground.
we can dream.
Yep. There's so much to dream. Like, I would love to have horses out here one day. I think that would be beautiful.
Actually, the ipotherapy, right? Like, especially with children with disabilities, like with walking issues, it's like one of the most like great things, because
it activates their body just like sitting on a horse. That like it stimulates those muscle. I don't know like all of the like wording in English, like it would be hard to put it in words for me, but I know that it's like it's kind of like makes this like stimulation that once they're on the horse, even if they like cannot walk,
Yeah.
like, it helps them to like activate those and rewire.
Feel the movement. Yeah. We
So
want
that
to.
would be really amazing.
We have a lot of really big dreams for the property, so I think that would be very cool to have huge space. Yeah. We have it zoned for 2 of these homes, like 2 of the small group homes. So we could potentially have 2 homes, 4 of the small cottages, commercial property, multi-purpose building, swimming pool, horses. Who knows? Possibilities feel endless right now.
There's possibilities.
Yeah. This is the step 1. It's the most immediate need, but we could also provide, jobs for potential kids that age out of the system. We could, do trainings for parents of adoptive parents or children with disabilities. Like, there's so much. The need of the Ukrainian orphan care system is so great, and we are addressing one of those issues with this home. But the property and the potential that we have in this space to address more needs within the system, that brings a lot of hope, I believe.
What is the age group of children?
Probably like younger than 10, so like 0 to 10. And mostly that's just because there needs to be a separation between like teenage and
Makes
younger.
sense.
And so our focus will probably be younger, but because there's like going to be movement on the children, hopefully movement of the children we have in here, because as they get adopted, we'll be bringing in different children. That could potentially change over time, if we have like a sibling set come in or something like that, and we're able to house a sibling set of 8 or something like that. It could change. So a lot of flexibility.
So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy watching me overcome the most challenging part of the painting in my process, and also seeing where the Blossom Cottage is. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.